Back, everyone, smash that like button if you want to support the show. But there has been actual response from Activision regarding cheaters, and I feel like 99% of you didn't see that. So let's get right into it. Latest update on the anti-cheat in Black Ops 7 beta. And again, they did make a full response to this. 97% of cheaters are banned within the 30 minutes of sign-in. And this is official, kind of confirmation we have in that sense that we never felt before, that we never really saw before. And the other part is most cheaters have been taken down, with many providers now saying that cheats are unusable. Again, I haven't seen, which providers have said that. I didn't check that. Less than 1% of cheaters got into the match removed within minutes, right? But when you literally check the online stuff, what we are seeing is those cheaters probably caused millions of dollars of damages. The cheaters we saw in the games I covered, 3 days ago, those were the ones that were really problematic. And again, the issue here is not the cheaters that come in or that come out per se, is the ones that actually get into the game and last for a long time. This might be less than 1% of those cheaters that actually make an effort to cheat. Those who use, different products that they buy online, or that they make an extra effort to actually do this for long term, not just for a quick funsies and then getting banned, right, in the beta. And I feel like this type of response is really corporate-like. So what you're seeing is more of a response of, hey, we banned all the cheaters, but these are the cheaters that have not installed any special software. And again, it makes pretty obvious sense that people are unhappy with Activision because of their lack of actually talking to people, talking to the community like they did in 2010, 2015 onwards. It wasn't the same thing, since Ghost. And I think this is where 99% of people are complaining, because they're using this Black Ops 7 cheating, also streamers, for all the cheating for 5 years that has been happening in Warzone. Now, why haven't the cheaters been, resolved in Warzone for the last 5 years? I feel like it's because Warzone has been making too much money to actually address this. They've been trying to fight it, but it didn't really stop anything. Major cheat providers are now labeling their tools unusable or detectable. Again, we didn't hear any of the providers speak out on this. We didn't get any big news confirmation, or at least I missed it. Resellers are now acknowledging they have no reliable products to offer for Black Ops 7. Again, why are there people playing online with their own hardware? This is what really scares me, right? Is cheating really gone forever with this Safeboot thing and TPM? Or is it just an extra process to go over? Because that's what I'm hearing, from a lot of developers on Reddit. I know they're Reddit experts, but I'm hearing that they have said that this is going to still, there's always going to be cheaters in every single game. But of course, we're not only disabling their cheats, but also their illegal businesses as well. Now, this is one right thing they did. And, something that has been very, very vocal about this, or someone, the big corporation, is actually Fortnite. Fortnite has been banning a lot of these kids who have been cheating and taking them to court, suing them for exorbitant amounts of money and taking them through the big legal process, and also Nintendo. These two corporations are basically, when you cheat in the game, you're screwed, because you're basically creating a huge money sink loss for them by having, for example, 30 minutes of fun. And Treyarch basically realizes that clip that went online, or a few clips that I showed you in my previous videos, that has created probably millions of dollars of damages. I'm talking multiple millions. I would say at least, I'm going to say a random range here, but I would say at least 5 to 20 million in terms of how many people decided not to buy the game or support the game anymore. Just like Battlefield did. And, we're talking about big money here, so Treyarch has to step up in that direction. But again, vendors sharing clips during beta were already on our radar, and we'll pursue them beyond in-game enforcement. So it seems like they will ban these cheaters that have been posting this. Maybe it was like a little ad for the game providers, and they're really screwed now. So yeah, basically Big Dad stepped in, and he's done with cheaters, because this is hurting the Treyarch's favorite position, and that is the money. The money bag is now being hurt. Before, with Warzone, I still feel most of players complain about Warzone cheats, and they kind of, just went along their way, because it didn't really affect sales that much, in my opinion, especially with skins. But it now seems like that this is a big controversial scene that, they're going to have a scapegoat for it. I don't know about you guys, but I just feel like Treyarch has lost its touch with, actually addressing with the community. Maybe if they got a bit of a spokesperson, maybe a content creator to talk us through with these issues, I would be 10 times more happy. But of course, this is a big corporation now, and actually getting through that, level of info is getting very hard. This is the same thing I'm seeing with all these big games and what happened to Battlefield 2042. They were saying everything is okay, and when we saw Battlefield 2042, it wasn't great. All of the content creators were saying how bad it is, how they didn't ask any questions, how they didn't listen, or how rushed it was. And again, I don't want Black Ops 7 to go down the same path. I personally feel the campaign will be amazing, but there's going to be, maybe issues with multiplayer, maybe the lack of content. All through we're seeing the biggest content update now, so I could be totally wrong. So in the first few days of early access beta, Ricochet Anti-Cheat has been working to protect the integrity of every match. 97% of cheaters were stopped within 30 minutes, which is awesome. I mean, those are the people that probably didn't, do anything to actually, like last time. So Safeboot did prevent like probably 60 to 70% of these cheaters, but fewer than 1% of cheating attempts reached a match, and those who did removed within minutes. Remember, guys, this is awesome, but it just takes one cheater for, to ruin the game for 11 other people. So by statistics, there are still cheaters around there, even in Black Ops Beta. Even if there's less of them now, we need to drop this number to a 0 at this point. And I'm hoping Warzone will learn a lesson, because this is what people are saying now. They're basically boycotting the game at this point. They don't like it anymore, and they're showing with their wallets. And now, Activision has to take notes. Treyarch has to take notes, because they are losing money on this game for sure compared to Battlefield 6. What's your guys' data? It is unfortunate that players are in fact getting shadow banned. Yes, you heard it. Your friendly neighbor could in fact be shadow banned and not play Call of Duty with you. Even if he's a fair player, he gets punished. And it's an absolute incredible disaster in my personal opinion. I'm going to be explaining why. I'm not just going to be hating like all other Call of Duty content creators. And again, I don't like to make hate on this channel. I feel like it is very deconstructive. I don't think it provides anything of value if you're just hating, but when you give solid criticism and how Activision could improve, well, then you're a good member of society. So let's get right into it. Well, players are getting shadow banned, and they're playing Black Ops completely fair Call of Duty limited matchmaking. So if you get this message, remember my video, because this could be you guys. Maybe you're playing today and next week you come on there and somehow the mysterious new anti-cheat ends up banning you. Your account is in a limited matchmaking state due to potential violation. Doesn't say what violation. There's some violation that that just found out to be a problem. Unfortunately, we are unable to inform you when the account will exit a limited matchmaking state. So what does this mean? You may check back here periodically to see if your status clears or changes to a temporary permanent suspension. What? So you would just permanently suspend someone? I'm guessing the anti-cheat honestly is checking here if they're actual hackers or if they're just, an average Joe playing Call of Duty. But this is the big problem I have here. I feel like, personally, that the TPM that was advertised, it was the biggest disaster ever, both for Battlefield 6 and both for Call of Duty Black Ops 7. And here's why. Now, cheaters are a problem. They obviously are a problem. But the bigger problem here is that a lot of these cheaters are not, in fact, getting banned. A lot of these cheaters are going undetected. And this is what you guys are not hearing. I don't believe this, lol. I've ran into multiple blatant cheaters already. This is to a response when Black Ops 7 team actually said, hey, we are banning cheaters, goodbye cheaters. Remove PC and give them their own servers. That's a lie, dude. I get a Waller or soft aim dudes in every other match. All that have been level 20. What a joke, man. It's a beta. I will say this. I haven't seen a single cheater in the beta so far. So did Ricochet finally live up to their expectations? I mean, obviously we've seen cheaters, but a lot less of them. The issue is, though, if you just went on ahead and banned all the people that are hacking, if you put up lawsuits, again, it's getting easier and easier to actually expose cheaters, which is a very big problem. This is a very big industry, guys. This is a multi-million-dollar industry, and it's costing games a lot of money in terms of quality control. But the big issue I have with the report that we got last week is this only feels for actual cheaters or cheat vendors that they can detect. So what about the other 50% or 1/3, or we don't know the true data that they cannot detect? So of course, if you're using a stupid anti-cheat that's probably free or for a very cheap price, it's not costing you anything. But I know some people make their own cheats. There's probably a very large majority of that, or a minority, who knows. This is the big problem here. I am absolutely with Activision on this, but cheaters have been a problem for the last 5 years, and this is why the community is pissed. Community is not pissed for no reason. Warzone content creators are complaining about it for the last 5 years. And yes, Call of Duty has tried to improve it. It tried to fix it, but it's gone so much that, Warzone is known as a cheater game. It's mostly known, for cheaters to play there. Now, I've been a very, very vocal person to say that I don't believe TPM and Safeboot will actually help. I think it will prevent some of these cheaters that were, cheating for free, but it's not going to prevent everything. And this is where I really stand my ground, that I feel like if they reinvested this time and effort into actually shutting down these cheaters or suing them, just like Fortnite, when someone is cheating, you better get ready, because they have a huge team of lawyers ready. And that's what we saw about 3 months ago. Some Fortnite pro didn't go to court, and guess what? He's now 170K in debt, and they will have to give this money back to Fortnite, which Fortnite will give to charities. I mean, that's incredible. And I don't feel like Activision takes enough threats on this. They have said that they will be suing this off the court. They need to make this absolutely public as possible. This would be great PR. The guy posting the cheats and bragging, we saw this clip last week. He probably made like $5 million of damage to the game itself and to the company. Wouldn't it be fun and great PR if they made him post an apology as well? Instead, he's bragging how he's gonna cheat and ruin multiple of games. That's what I really don't like, and I'm hoping Activision also takes a better stance on this. And I'm hoping Activision actually realizes this, that the only way to fight cheaters nowadays is with legal power. They have the money, they have the assets, they're a billion-dollar company, so they should act like one, just like Fortnite. Fortnite is one of the biggest games after 10 years and after almost, having a big revenue loss back in 2019. It literally jumped back up because it listened to its community. And that's what Activision should do too. And I feel like a lot of people are now going ahead and not doing the same thing that, literally the people buying the game for years have been asking about. So going back to the topic, I honestly do not believe that the TPM is enough. I believe it helps the Safeboot and everything like that. But here's the real thing. It is not a preventive for these cheaters. It's just a bypass, really, that they have to find another solution to find, cheats or find some hardware. Again, you can see that in the little clip we saw last week. The other thing we actually also saw is people getting shadow banned. And again, I have to go back to this. I'm guessing and hoping to God that they yet stop getting shadow banned and actually get, back to the game pretty much soon, because that's what I'm thinking is happening. Like, the system puts them in a jail until they play properly, I'm guessing. But one truth is for sure that there's a lot of cheaters that have not been detected and will not be detected, and they're probably going to be in your next game. So yeah, I'm hoping Activision does hire some sort of, just going to have a lot of false positives when you have this type of system. And unfortunately, this is what's happening. Hopefully these players are getting back in time by the full release, and that would be absolutely amazing. But there's still a lot of cheaters undetected. There is no doubt this anti-cheat that we saw, Safeboot, has removed cheaters. Okay, nobody is denying that. The issue is there's still cheaters at hand. Even if you have a single cheater out there, he can instantly ruin a game. Just look at Warzone. You have 42 players, 44 players, whatever it is. As soon as they drop in, one cheater is going to ruin it for everyone. And that's why I quit Warzone, because of that. I used to play Warzone a lot, but when you get single cheater, he will actively ruin the match, not only for the people losing, but also for the people winning, unfortunately. So a lot of these cheaters actually have made a statement on the anti-cheat. We want to keep everyone informed about an issue that's becoming a serious concern in COD community. It's highly believed, but not yet officially confirmed, that COD has quietly introduced TPM-based bans. I mean, of course they have. That's why we have TPM, basically. What other reason would it be, right? So it's a bit funny, like the anti-cheat has to make this type of announcement. But here is the thing. COD has quietly introduced TPM-based bans. Our observations suggest that the system has been active for several weeks before the beta even launched. I mean, yes, of course it's going to be active before the beta. If it was not active, this would be a very big problem. But it seems like they did their very first ban wave, so I'm very proud of Activision, what they're doing. Players who report getting banned despite not running any products may be dealing with a TPM, Trust Their Platform module flag, in their system. Unfortunately, this is the case. TPM bans cannot be spoofed or bypassed, making them harder to deal with than traditional hardware bans. We urge everyone to be extremely cautious. All of our COD products listed as undetected remain safe. So, I mean, there's always going to be these type of cheaters, and this is the issue here. I feel like this industry, you know, there's a big industry of that we are seeing right now. You know, cheats making their own servers and announcements. It's a big industry, and I don't feel like Activision is fighting enough against it, because if you saw this on Fortnite, literally the next day they would be getting a massive lawsuit and cease and desist, and they would get an army of lawyers. And that's why I love Fortnite. They actually do this fighting against cheaters correctly. And again, if you're a cheater, nothing against you, but the issue here is if you're doing this as a business, it's not a good business. It might be lucrative for some time until your cheats get banned, and then you have to rewrite them, and it's a costly legal process. So who wins in the end is people having fun for maybe 15 minutes, 30 minutes before they get banned. And there has been actual statements from cheaters. And again, they said products marked use at your own risk now carry even greater risk under a suspect TPM restrictions. And again, the point I'm trying to make is not to focus on the cheaters itself, but the point I'm trying to make is that yes, the anti-cheat finally works. And you know, just this type of response is a great thing. I feel like the 99% that they got caught in the system are those who have not made the extra effort to use hardware. I'm actually very worried when the dedicated ones use the hardware and play Call of Duty 9 hours a day, if that's all they will do. But hopefully by that time, the anti-cheat will be improved. We strongly advised anyone using products, I don't know if I can say that on YouTube, particularly risky under the COD security measures and may result in rapid bans. So yeah, there is a ban wave. It's worth noting that this is still over a month until the full release of COD Black Ops 7, which means changes to security systems are still possible. The good news is that we provide fully undetected, and again, you get the clear idea here is that cheaters will find a workaway. And I have seen a Twitter comment, I don't know if I can still find it, but it was a very fair point. The issue with cheaters is not that they are cheating. The issue is they don't get punished. So he's saying basically punish the cheaters in a different way, and that's how it's gonna fix the issue. Because when a cheater was caught and it's ruining Activision literally millions of dollars. This probably cost at least $50 million, the whole cheating, thing that, streamers are talking about. Just that clip alone probably cost like at least $5 to $20 million, in my opinion, in lost sales. It's a really big problem by the outreach of people deciding, hey, why should I buy this game if the system doesn't work, right? And the PR must be an absolute nightmare. And I really hope Activision does get on the right track and fixes this at this point, because it would be absolutely amazing to see, which they are right now. You can see these bans do work. The issue is, what about those ones that are using extended hardware? Those ones are...
Okay. Well, Chad, as you can see, the anti-cheat didn't get updated. I mean, oh, here we go, man.
So Kai Cenat just reacted to Nick Merckx, again, one of the biggest Call of Duty streamers, on the Black Ops 7 cheats. And I feel like the big problem here is a lot of these streamers are negative about Black Ops 7, and that is for one simple reason. Yes, the game is not near perfect. Yes, it is not 100% the best one we saw out there. Is it even better than Black Ops 6? Obviously not, but there is one thing for sure here. Black Ops 7 is mostly at this scenario where hating on it actually gives you more audience and pays more than loving it. Because yes, the game obviously has faults, but do I feel like this is gonna be the worst game of the year? Not even close. There are plenty of other worse games. And you have to realize Nick Merckx and Kai Cenat will still play it by the end of the day. Even if there's a ton of cheaters, these are the cheaters that are going to stay in beta and are going to be gone on full release. So what Activision is doing right now is actually very smart. They are gathering this data to ban these cheaters later on in the full game release. And there's also another reason why there is such a huge influx of cheaters. For a very simple reason. The game is free right now. It is literally free. Anyone can download, make a new account, play. Are you going to do the same thing when it's $30 a month or $80? No, exactly. And especially when the cheats are getting more advanced. Yes, the Safeboot isn't like, a save all, a grace, but it does prevent a lot of cheaters from playing the game. Think about it. You need to actually have a proper setup for these cheats. I'm not going to go in full detail because I cannot and I don't want to, but it is way, way harder to cheat in video games now because nobody likes cheaters. It is the one thing that nobody enjoys. And Kai Cenat, and Nick Merckx talking about this without realizing the full situation, in my opinion, what's going on. What do you guys personally think? This has been fast info for you guys today. Smash that like button if you guys haven't already.